ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति shanti. Namaskar, my dear friends. In this video, I am going to describe Dhyana Bindu Upanishad of Samaveda. Even if sin should accumulate to a mountain extending over many yojanas distance, it is destroyed by the Dhyana Yoga. At no time has been found a destroyer of sins like this. Bijakshara seed letter is the Supreme Bindu. Nada, spiritual sound is above it. When that nada ceases along with the letter, then the nada-less is supreme state. That yogi who considers as the highest that which is above nada, which is anhata, has all his doubts destroyed. If the point of a hair be divided into 100,000 parts, this nada is one half of that, still further divided, and when even this is absorbed, the yogi attains to the stainless Brahman, one who is of a firm mind and without the delusion of sensual pleasures and ever resting in Brahma, should see like the string in a rosary of beads all creatures as existing in Atma like odor in flowers, ghee in milk, oil in gingerly seeds, and gold in quartz. Again, just as the oil depends for its manifestation upon gingerly seeds and odor upon flowers, so does the Purusha depend for its existence upon the body, both external and internal. The tree is with parts and its shadow is without parts, but with and without parts, Atma exists everywhere. The one Akshara, letter Om, should be contemplated upon as Brahma by all who aspire for emancipation. Prithvi, Agni, Rigveda, Bhu, and Brahma, all these are absorbed when Akara, A, the first Ansa, part of a Pranava, Om becomes absorbed. Antariksha, Yajur Veda, Vayu, Bhuva, and Vishnu, the Janardana, all these are absorbed when Ukara, U, the second Ansa of Pranava, becomes absorbed. Diyur, Sun, Samveda, Swaha, and Maheswara, all these are absorbed when Makara, M, the third Ansa of Pranava, becomes absorbed. Akara is of Pita, yellow Pita, and yellow color, and is said to be of Rajoguna. Ukara is of white color and of Sattva Guna. Makara is of dark color and of Tamoguna. He who does not know Omkara as having 8 Angas parts, 4 Padas feet, 3 Sthanas seats, and 5 Devtas presiding deities is not a Brahma. Pranava is the bow, Atma is the arrow, and Brahma is said to be the aim. One should aim at it with great care, and then he, like the arrow, becomes one with it. When that highest is cognized, all karmas return from him which do not affect him. The Vedas have Omkara as their cause. The Savras sounds have Omkara as their cause. The three worlds with all the locomotive and the fixed ones in them have Omkara as their cause. The short accent of Om burns all sins, the long one is decayless, and the bestower of prosperity. United with Ardhatmatra, half meter of Om, the Pranava becomes the bestower of salvation. That man is the knower of the Vedas, who knows that the end with Ardhamatra of Pranava should be worshipped or recited as uninterrupted as the flow of oil and resounding as long as the sound of a bell. One should contemplate upon Omkara as Isvara, resembling an unshaken light as of the size of a thumb and as motionless in the middle of the pericarp of the lotus of the heart. Taking in Vayu through the left nostril and filling the stomach with it, one should contemplate upon Omkara as being in the middle of the body and as surrounded by circling flames. Brahma is said to be inspiration. Vishnu is said to be cessation of breath, and Rudra is said to be expiration. These are the devtas of pranayama. Having made Atma as the lower Arni, sacrificial wood, and Parnava as the upper Arni, one should see the God in secret through the practice of churning, which is dhyana. One should practice restraint of breath as much as it lies in his power, along with the uttering of Omkara sound until it ceases completely. Those who look upon Om as of the form of Hansa, staying in all, shining like crores of suns, being alone, staying in Gama Gama, ever going and coming, Gama Gama, ever going and coming, and being devoid of motion. At last, such persons are freed from sin. That Manas, which is the author of the actions with creation, preservation, and destruction of the three worlds, is then absorbed in the Supreme One. That is the highest state of Vishnu. The lotus of the heart has 8 petals and 32 filaments. The sun is in its midst, the moon is in the middle of the sun, Agni is in the middle of the moon, The Prabha, spiritual light, is in the middle of Agni. Pitha, seat or center, is in the midst of Prabha, being set in diverse gems. One should meditate upon the stainless Lord Vasudeva as being seated upon the center of Pitha, as having Sri Vatsa, black mark, and Kaustubha, garland of gems on his chest, and as adorned with gems and pearls, resembling pure crystal in lustre, and as resembling crores of moons in brightness, he should meditate upon Mahavishnu as above or in the following manner. That is, he should meditate upon inspiration of breath upon Mahavishnu as resembling the Atasi flower and as staying in the seat of navel with four hands, then with restraint of breath. He should meditate in the heart upon Brahma, the grandfather, as being on the lotus with the Gora pale red color of gems and having four faces. Then through expiration he should meditate upon the three-eyed Shiva between the two eyebrows shining like the pure crystal, being stainless, destroying all sins, being in that which is like the lotus, facing down with its flower or face below and the stalk above, or like the flower of a plantain tree, being of the form of all Vedas, containing 100 petals and 100 leaves, and having the pericarp full expanded. There he should meditate upon the sun, the moon, and the Agni, one above another, passing above through the lotus, which has the brightness of the sun, moon, and Agni, and taking its Harimbija latter, one leads his Atma firmly. He is the knower of Vedas who knows the three seats, the three matras, the three brahmas, the three aksharas, letters, and the three matras associated with the ardhmatra. He who knows that which is above bindu, nada, and kala as uninterrupted as the flow of oil and resounding as long as the sound of a bell. That man is a knower of the Vedas, just as a man would draw up with his mouth the water through the pores of the lotus stalk, so the yogi treading the path of yoga should draw up the breath. Having made the lotus sheath of the form of Ardhamatra, one should draw up the breath through the stalk of the Nadi, Susmana, Ida, and Pingla and absorb it in the middle of the eyebrows. He should know that the middle of the eyebrows in the forehead, which is also the root of the nose, is the seat of nectar, that is the great place of Brahma. Postures, restraint of breath, subjugation of the senses, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi are the six parts of yoga. There are as many postures as there are living creatures, and Maheswara, the great Lord, knows their distinguishing features. Siddha, Bhadra, Simha, and Padma are the four chief postures. Mooladhara is the first chakra, Swadhisthana is the second. Between these two is said to be the seat of Yoni perineum, having the form of Kama, god of love. In the Adhara of the anus, there is the lotus of four petals. In its midst is said to be the yoni called Kama and worshipped by the Siddhas. In the midst of the yoni is the linga facing the west and split at its head like the gem. He who knows this is a knower of the Vedas. A four-sided figure is situated above Agni and below the genital organ of the form of molten gold and shining like streaks of lightning. Prana is with its sub-oven sound, having Swadhisthana as its Adhisthana seat, or since Swa or Prana arises from it. The chakra Swadhisthana is spoken of as the genital organ itself. The chakra in the sphere of the navel is called Manipura, since the body is pierced through by Vayu like manis, gems by string. The jiva, ego, urged to actions by its past virtuous and sinful karmas, whirls about in this great chakra of 12 spokes so long as it does not grasp the truth. Above the genital organ and below the navel is kanda of shape of a bird's egg. There arises from it nadis 72,000 in number. Of these, 72,000 are generally known. Of these, the chief ones are 10 and carry the pranas: Ida, Pingla, Susmana, Gandhari, Hastijiva, Pusha, Yasasvini, Alambusha, Kuhu, and Sankhini are said to be the 10. This chakra of the nadis should ever be known by the yogins. The three nadis, Ida, Pingla, and Susmana, are said to carry prana always and have their devtas, moon, sun, and Agni. Ida is on the left side and Pingla on the right side, while the Susmana is in the middle. These three are known to be the paths of prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana, naga, kurma, karkara, devdatta, and dhanajya. Of these, the first five are called pranas, etc., and last five, naga, etc., are called vayus or subpranas. All these are situated or run along the 1000 nadis, being in the form of or producing life. Jiva, which is under the influence of prana and apana, goes up and down. Jiva, on account of its ever moving by the left and right paths, is not visible. Just as a ball struck down on the earth with the bat of the hand springs up, so Jiva, ever tossed by prana and apana, is never at rest. He is knower of yoga who knows that prana always draws itself from apana and apana draws itself from prana, like a bird drawing itself from and yet not freeing itself from the string to which it is tied. The jiva comes out with the letter HA and gets in again with the letter SA. Thus Jiva always utters the mantra Hamsa Hamsa. The Jiva always utters the mantra 21,600 times in one day and night. This is called as Japa Gayatri and is ever the best tour of nirvana to the yogis. Through its very thought, man is freed from sins. Neither in the past nor in the future is there a science equal to this, a japa equal to this, or a meritorious action equal to this. Parmeswari, with Kundalini Shakti, sleeps shutting with her mouth that door which leads to the decayless Brahma hole. Being aroused by the contact of Agni with Manas and Prana, she takes the form of a needle and pierces up through Sushmana. The yogi should open with great effort this door which is shut. Then he will pierce the door to salvation by means of Kundalini, folding firmly the fingers of the hands, assuming firmly the Padma posture, placing the chin firmly on the breast and fixing the mind in dhyana. One should frequently raise up the apana, fill up with air, and then leave the prana. Then the wise man gets matchless wisdom through this Sakti. That yogi who, assuming Padma posture, worships, that is, controls Vayu at the door of the nadis and then performs restraint of breath, is released without doubt. Rubbing of the limbs, the sweat arising from fatigue, abandoning all acid, bitter, and salty food, taking delight in the drinking of milk and rasa, practicing celibacy, being moderate in eating, and ever bent on yoga, the yogi becomes a siddha in itself more than a year. No inquiry need be made concerning the result. Kundalini Shakti, when it is up in the throat, makes the yogi get siddhi. The union of prana and apana has the extinction of urine and feces. One becomes young even when old through performing Mula Bandha always, pressing the yoni by means of the heels and contracting the anus and drawing up the apana. This is called Mool Bandha. Udyan Bandha is so called because it is like a great bird that flies up always without rest. One should bring the western part of the stomach above the navel. This Udyana Bandha is a line to the elephant of death, since it binds the water or nectar of the Akash which arises in the head and flows down. The Jalandhra Bandha is the destroyer of all the pains of the throat. When this Jalandhra Bandha, which is destroyer of the pains of the throat, is performed, then nectar does not fall on Agni, nor does the Vayu move. When the tongue enters backwards into the hole of the skull, then there is the mudra of vision latent in the eyebrow called Khetri. He who knows the mudra Khetri has not disease, death, sleep, hunger, thirst, or swoon. He who practices this mudra is not affected by illness or karma, nor is he bound by the limitations of time. Since chitta moves in the kha, akash, and since the tongue has entered in the mudra kha, which the hole in the mouth, therefore the mudra is called khechari and worshipped by the siddhas. He whose hole or passage above the uvula is closed with the tongue backwards by means of khechari mudra never loses his virility even when embraced by a lovely woman. Where is the fear of death so long as the Bindu virility stays in the body? Bindu does not go out of the body so long as the Khechri mudra is practiced. Even when Bindu comes down to the sphere of the perineum, it goes up being prevented and forced up by violent effort through Yoni Mudra. This Bindu is twofold, while white and red. The white one is called Sukla and the red one is said to contain much Rajas. The Rajas which stays in Yoni is like the color of a coral. The Bindu stays in the seat of the genital organs. The union of these two is very rare. Bindu is Shiva and Rajas is Shakti. Bindu is the moon and Rajas is the sun. Through the union of these two is attained the highest body when Rajas is roused up by agitating the Shakti through Vayu which unites with the sun. Thence is produced the divine form. Shukla being united with the moon and Rajas with the sun, he is a knower of yoga who knows the proper mixture of these two. The cleansing of the accumulated refuse, the unification of the sun and the moon, and the complete drying of the rasas, essences. This is called Mahamudra. Placing the chin on the breast, pressing the anus by means of the left heel and seizing the toe of the extended light led by the two hands, one should fill his belly with air and should slowly exhale. This is called Mahamudra, the destroyer of the sins of man. Now I shall give a description of Atma. In the seat of the heart is a lotus of 8 petals. In its center is Jivatma of the form of Jyotis and atomic in size, moving in a circular line. In it is located everything. It knows everything. It does everything. It does all these actions, attributing everything to its own power, thinking, I do, I enjoy, I am happy, I am miserable, I am blind, I am lame, I am deaf, I am mute, I am lean, I am stout, etc. When it rests on the eastern petal, which is of Sveta white color, then it has a mind or is inclined to dharma with bhakti, devotion. When it rests on the southeastern petal, which is of Rakta, blood color, then it is inclined to sleep and laziness. When it rests on the southern petal, which is of Krishna, black color, then it is inclined to hate and anger. When it rests on the southwestern petal, which is of Neela, blue color, then it gets desire for sinful or harmful actions. When it rests on the western petal, which is of crystal color, then it is inclined to flirt and amuse. When it rests on the northwestern petal, which is of ruby color, then it has a mind to walk, row, and have vairagya or be indifferent. When it rests on the northern petal, which is pita yellow color, then it is inclined to be happy and to be loving. When it rests on the northeastern petal, which is of Veduria lapis lazuli color, then it is inclined to amassing money, charity, and passion. When it stays in the interspace between any two petals, then it gets the wrath arising from diseases generated through the disturbance of the equilibrium of Vayu, bile, and phlegm in the body. When it stays in the middle, then it knows everything, sings, dances, speaks, and is blissful. When the eye is pained after a day's work, then in order to remove its pain, it makes first a circular line and sinks in the middle. The first line is of the color of bandhuka flower, Vasya. Then is the state of sleep. In the middle of the state of sleep is the state of dream. In the middle of the state of dream, it experiences the ideas of perception, Vedas, inference, possibility, sacred words, etc. Then there arises much fatigue. In order to remove this fatigue, it circles the second line and sinks in the middle. The second is of the color of the insect Indragopa of red or white color. Then comes the state of dreamless sleep. During the dreamless sleep, It has only the thought connected with Parameshwara, the highest Lord alone. This state is of the nature of eternal wisdom. Afterwards, it attains the nature of the highest Lord Parameshwara. Then it makes a round of the third circle and sinks in the middle. The third circle is of the color of Padmarga ruby. Then comes the state of Turiya, the fourth. In Turiya, there is only the connection of Paramatma. It attains the nature of eternal wisdom. Then one should gracefully attain the quiescence of buddhi with self-control. Placing the manas in Atma, one should think of nothing else. Then, causing the union of prana and apana, he concentrates his aim upon the whole universe being of the nature of Atma. Then comes the state of Turyatita, which that state beyond the fourth. Then everything appears as bliss. He is beyond the pairs of happiness and pains, etc. He stays here as long as he should wear his body. Then he attains the nature of Paramatma and attains emancipation through this means. This alone is the means of knowing Atma. When Vayu, breath, which enters the great hole associated with a hall where four roads meet, gets into the half of the well placed triangle. Then is Achyuta, the indestructible scene. Above the aforesaid triangle, one should meditate on the five bija seed letters of the elements, Prithvi, etc., as also on the five pranas, the color of the bijas and their position. The letter Ya is the bija of prana and resembles the blue cloud. The letter Ra is the bija of Agni, is of Apana and resembles the sun. The letter La is the bija of Prithvi, is of Vyana and resembles Banduka flower. The letter Va is bija of Jiva or Vayu, is of Udana and is of the color of the conch. The letter He is the bija of Akas, is of Samna and is of Samana and is of the color of crystal. Prana stays in the heart, navel, nose, ear, foot, finger, and other places. Travels through the 72,000 nadis, stays in the 28 crores of hair pores, and is yet the same everywhere. It is that which is called Jiva. One should perform the three expiration, etc., with a firm will and great control, and drawing in everything with the breath in slow degrees. He should bind prana and apana in the cave of the lotus of the heart and utter Pranava, having contracted his throat and the genital organ. From the Mooladhara to the head is the Susumna, resembling the shining thread of the lotus. The Nada is located in the Vinadanda, spinal column. That sound from its middle resembles that of the conch, etc. When it goes the whole of the Akash, it resembles that of the peacock. In the middle of the cave of the skull, between the four doors, shines Atma, like the sun in the sky. Between the two bows in the Brahma hole, one should see Purusha with Shakti as his own Atma. Then his Manas is absorbed there. That man attains Kaivalya, who understands the Jains, moonlight, Nada Bindu, and the seat of Maheswara, the great Lord. Thus is the Upanishad. So the Upanishad is completed. Thank you for watching this video. Namaskar, my dear friend. Thank you.